Hello folks, you're on the Game Learner channel, and if you love games, especially fresh hot ones with a minimal chance of draining your bank account, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to talk about the top games released in March 2025. I've rounded up only the most exciting and popular releases for you, from atmospheric adventures to fast-paced action titles and remasters that still rock, even though their age is creeping close to that of dinosaurs. And here's a little surprise. At the end of the video, there's a contest where one of you can win any game from this list absolutely free. Yep, I've decided to splurge. It doesn't happen every day, so stick around until the end to find out the details. Let's dive in. Split Fiction is one of the standout releases of March 2025, and let me say right off the bat, this game isn't just another co-op title with hit and hold buttons. It's a project from Hazelight Studios, the same folks who gave us It Takes Two. Once again, they're testing the strength of your friendship or relationship. At the heart of the story are two writers trapped inside their own books. Each level brings a new genre, a new style, and a new crazy world where the two of you must solve puzzles, overcome obstacles, and avoid killing each other. Kind of like real life, but way more fun and with stunning graphics. Visually, the game is gorgeous. Every location is styled to match the genre it's parodying, from noir-soaked streets to fantastical castles. It's not just varied, it's downright atmospheric. The gameplay is a perfectly balanced mix of platforming, puzzles, and mini-games, tailored for two players. You can play online or split screen, assuming you still have friends who come over in person. The reviews? Mostly rave. People are praising its originality, humor, visual flair, and of course, its emotional depth. Many are already calling Split Fiction a new classic in the co-op genre. Point Museum is the latest simulator from the folks at 2 Point Studios, and if you've ever dreamed of growing a serious mustache and running a museum where the exhibits might literally come to life and run away, then welcome aboard. The story here is pretty loose. As is typical for simulators, you're the new museum director, and your job is to turn a dusty building with 3 vases and a dinosaur skeleton into a cultural hub where people lose their minds from excitement and overpriced gift shop trinkets. Each exhibit is its own little quest. Want to set up a prehistoric zone? Go for it. An alien artifact? Sure thing. A living knight who fights with visitors? Why not? In 2 Point, everything operates on the principle of, what if we make it silly but stunning? The graphics stick to the same cartoony style seen in 2 Point Hospital and Campus. Characters move in hilarious ways, the museum gradually comes to life, and you get to sit back and watch tourists snap selfies with a mummy, while it does a backflip. Reviews are mostly positive. People love the humor, smooth gameplay, and deep customization options, and some are just thrilled they can build an exhibit featuring an item called a very suspicious piece of cheese. 2 Point Museum is a game for those who want to unwind, feel like a cultured individual, and never have to worry about property taxes. Plus, it's a great pick for the contest. Affordable, fun, and way less stressful than you are. The re-release of the classic Suikoden games is like meeting an old classmate who not only didn't fall apart, but also learned a foreign language, hit the gym, and now looks surprisingly spry. Yes, these are the very same Suikoden 1 and 2, repackaged and polished to a shine. In the first game, you're the son of a general, suddenly dragged into a whirlwind of conspiracy, betrayal, magic, and a whole lot of stuff that screams PlayStation 1 heroic drama. The second game is widely regarded as one of the most beloved JRPGs in history, packed with gripping political intrigue, tragedies, unexpectedly deep characters, and the chance to recruit 108 allies. Yes, 108. Don't ask, it's just their thing. Graphically, they didn't overhaul it into some anime movie-level spectacle, but the pixels have been cleaned up, the interface refreshed, and the soundtrack re-recorded. It's one of those cases where HD doesn't just mean stretched the image and slapped a blur filter on it. Players are over the moon. Nostalgic fans shed a quiet tear and pretend they're back in 2000. Newcomers discover that games can be deep, engaging, and don't need to be 3D with RTX and a 700GB installer to matter. So, if you love rich stories, charismatic characters, and want to dive into legendary JRPGs that still hold their own, the Suikoden Remaster is absolutely worth your time. It's not just a game, it's practically a cultural artifact at this point. And who knows, it might just be the prize you snag in the contest at the end of the video. Wanderstop is a game that feels like it was born from a moment when the developers asked, what if we made an RPG? But stripped out all the endless fights, loot, and the obligatory task of saving the world from yet another villain in a black cloak. The protagonist is Alta, a former warrior who, for reasons unclear but clearly traumatic, retires and opens a tea shop. Yes, a tea shop. You read that right. Instead of swords, you've got teapots. Instead of raids, you're tidying up the place. It sounds odd, but in practice, it's surprisingly cozy and captivating. The gameplay is slow-paced and meditative. You serve customers, listen to their stories, decorate the shop, and gradually uncover more about Alta's past. At some point, you realize you're genuinely hooked. What happened to her? Why did she walk away? And why does that lone visitor stare out the window so sadly like they just finished Elden Ring? Visually, the style is minimalist yet deeply expressive. The color palette is soft, almost pastel, as if the entire game is draped in a gentle haze of memory. The sound design is calm and soothing, no tense soundtracks or apocalyptic drums here. Player reviews are overwhelmingly positive. Wanderstop has been dubbed an anti-stress oasis amid chaos, and the most human game of the month. Sure, it might not have epic bosses, but it offers something rare, a sense of peace. And honestly, when was the last time you felt at peace playing a new game? Wanderstop is a perfect pick for players tired of shouting, explosions, and constant press X to not die prompts. WWE 2K25 is the latest installment in the famous digital wrestling extravaganza. But this time, the developers decided they'd had enough of embarrassment and bugs, delivering something truly massive. Over 300 superstars, a new animation system, and, drumroll please, optimization that doesn't make your processor feel like it's suffocating. The standout feature this time around is the revamped career mode. It's no longer just a climb from rookie to champion. It's a full-blown soap opera, with branching storylines, relationships, and drama so intense, you'll start wondering, is this still a sport? Or did I accidentally launch an interactive series about jacked dudes? The graphics have taken a big step forward too. Faces, animations, effects, everything looks solid. Especially when someone leaps off the third rope to land face first on their opponent. Seriously, at times you forget this isn't a live broadcast from the arena, but a game. Customization deserves a special shout-out. Want to create a character with a baby face and a rhino body? Go for it. Dress them in gold shorts and make them dance after every hit? Easy. 2WE 2K25 knows what you want, even if you haven't realized it yet. Reviews this time are cautiously positive. Fans are thrilled that the series has finally crawled out of the pit it gleefully jumped into over the past couple of years. Critics highlight the stability, content, and renewed interest in the GM mode, where you take the reins as a show manager deciding who's a star and who's just walking furniture. Overall, 2WE2K25 is pure entertainment, loud, ridiculous, over the top, and dripping with cliches. But that's exactly why millions love wrestling. It's clearly aimed at genre fans, though even a newbie might get hooked for a couple of nights. Staging royal rumbles between clowns, zombies, and Brock Lesnar in a skirt. Now let's talk about CENTUM. CENTUM isn't just a point-and-click game, it's a small surreal experience trapped in pixels and silence. It starts with you waking up in a strange place where everything feels familiar yet unexplained. There's no clear goal, no on-screen markers, and most importantly, no skip this anxiety inside me button. The game is built on odd dialogues, symbols, recurring imagery, and an unsettling sense that you're part of some experiment. It's like a mix of Pony Island, the Stanley Parable, and insomnia triggered by an existential crisis. It constantly seems to ask you questions, but does so silently with a cold smirk. Visually, it's pixel art with a deliberate composition. Nothing feels random. Everything's slightly off-kilter, as if geometry got fed up with logic and moved to the basement. The sound is minimalistic, focused on atmosphere, creaks, hums, and rare musical bits that disturb more than they soothe. CENTUM isn't a horror game in the classic sense. It's not about jump scares or monsters in the closet. It's about internal dread, the feeling that you've missed something vital, something tied to why you're even here. Player reviews are split. Some rave about its depth and weirdness, others are baffled by what they just played. And that's what makes it intriguing. It doesn't explain itself, doesn't adapt, and doesn't try to please everyone, it just exists. Like an anxious dream you remember too vividly. Age of Mythology Retold isn't just a cash grab on nostalgia, it's a full-on restoration of a classic that's long overdue for a comeback. The original dropped over 20 years ago, yet it still gives strategy fans chills, sweaty palms, and flashbacks to the iconic Wololo chant. In this remaster, the devs bumped the visuals to 4K, revamped the interface, added tons of new animations, and polished the sound. Thunder now booms like it's summoned by a supernatural entity, not a 2002 WYZIV file. Everything's juicier, smoother, but stays true to the original spirit. Gameplay's the same. Pick a civilization, worship a pantheon, Greek, Egyptian, Norse, etc., and build your base until you've got enough resources to summon a giant kraken and wipe your opponent off the map. Or lose. Fast. Because you forgot to build an army again. The real thrill lies in the divine powers. Where else can you call down a meteor shower to smash an enemy temple or plague your neighbor's economy? And now it's gorgeous, almost too gorgeous to not stream to your friends without shame. Reviews are warm, almost heartfelt. People say this is the remaster that had to happen. Newbies praise the tutorial, fans thank the devs for not ruining it, and modders are already panicking. They've got to rewrite everything for the new engine. Age of Mythology. Retold isn't just a strategy game. It's a cultural and religious war with a mythological twist, where victory comes from tactics and a well-timed, let me drop a minotaur on you. For RTS fans, it's a gift from the gods. For everyone else, it's a chance to see why old-timers still rave about the ancient days when strategies were real. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the long-awaited leap of the series into feudal Japan. Gamers have been begging for this for 15 years, and Ubisoft finally said, "Fine, here are your samurai. Now don't ask for anything else." The game offers two protagonists, Yasuke, a stoic samurai, and Naoe, a nimble shinobi. Different styles, different approaches, but one grand goal: pulling off stylish kills under falling cherry blossoms. Gameplay leans hard into RPG territory again. Open world, skill trees, and side quests you swear you'll skip but end up chasing a wolf for 3 days anyway. The big twist here is the split mechanics. As the samurai, you fight head-on with a heavy sword and a dramatic stance. As the shinobi, you sneak, poison, eavesdrop, and escape over rooftops. It's not just stealth or sword anymore. It's 2 distinct genres in one package. The graphics are stunning. Everything glows, sparkles, and oozes old Japan vibes. Temples, misty forests, villages, cherry blossom fields, and lakes reflecting your inner void. The changing seasons and day-night cycles stand out. Nights feel genuinely eerie, while days are simply breathtaking. Reviews? Well, as usual with Assassin's Creed, opinions are split. Some call it a return to the series' roots, only better. Others say it's the same old XP grind, just with Japanese flair and a new katana. But most agree. The world feels alive, and parkouring across pagoda rooftops is a new kind of therapy. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a big, beautiful, bombastic game where you can feel like a ninja, a samurai, or just a tourist in the most detailed Japan your graphics card can handle. FragPunk is a competitive third-person shooter where matches last 3 minutes, but chaos kicks off in 3 seconds. Think shooters can't surprise you anymore? Enter a card system that rewrites combat rules mid-match. No, not Hearthstone with guns. Each card is a modifier. Turn on Mars gravity, give everyone giant heads, or transform foes into circus targets. The game bets big on high energy and lightning-fast reflexes. Round maps flip like TikTok videos, quick, confusing, and mildly horrifying. Heroes have unique abilities, weapons, firing styles, and a level of uselessness that depends on your skill. Visually, FragPunk is like a teen's dream after chugging 3 energy drinks. Bright, acidic, neon-soaked with effects galore and zero chill. This isn't a shooter for overthinking. It's jump, shoot, play a card, then maybe figure out where you are. Player reviews are mixed. Some rave about the pace and fresh concept. Others call it a DH in game form. A few still don't get why a shooter needs cards but keep playing because it's kind of fun. Critics praise the unconventional matchmaking, balance, and how it feels new, even if you're burned out on team fights. The best part? It's free. Sure, there are microtransactions. It's 2025. What did you expect? But you can hop in, play, and have a blast without spending a dime. Especially if you love quirky mechanics, quick matches, and don't mind a bullet from an enemy who just activated wall-piercing rounds. inZOI is a life simulator where you're not just watching your characters, you're directing their daily drama. If The Sims is a sitcom, inZOI is a Netflix series shot on Unreal Engine. The graphics are so realistic, you'll wonder if it's a game or your roommate moving into a pixelated house with modern decor. You create characters, build homes, assign jobs, meddle in their relationships, and that's it. Same old stuff, just prettier, deeper, and with a Korean flair for detail. Krafton's devs clearly took cues from The Sims, but added layers. Lifelike emotions, complex animations, rich social interactions, and tons of clothing that looks stylish designed, not randomly generated. Gameplay revolves around interaction. Characters don't just walk and talk, they build relationships, argue, cry, flirt, procrastinate, and live almost like you, minus the screen time. Control a whole city or zoom in on one family. Want chaos? Flip on God mode and ruin someone's life. In-game, of course. Not yours. Hopefully. The visual style steals the show. Unreal Engine works magic with lighting, shadows, clothing physics, and facial expressions, So realistic that some players admit even my real friends aren't this alive. Post-launch reviews are glowing. Players praise the freedom, depth of interactions, and ongoing updates with fresh features. Some build sprawling cities, others simulate burnout-filled office life, and a few craft romantic dramas with catastrophic finales. Total creative freedom, zero real-world consequences. Delightful.
Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And as promised, the cherry on top. A contest. Want to win any game from this list? It's super simple, just 2 conditions. First, be subscribed to the channel. Second, comment below with the name of the game you want. Just list its title and you're automatically entered. I'll pick winners using a randomizer to keep it fair and square. Exactly 1 week from now, I'll announce the results and reach out to the lucky ones. So, go for it. Pick a game, drop a comment, and you might just become the owner of a shiny new title. In the meantime, don't forget to hit that like button so I know I'm not doing this for nothing. Sometimes the internet brings joy. Surprising, right? See you in the next video.